This is the outside of the Elddis Majestic 275. As I move along, I will firstly come to the mains hookup point just here. Next we have the flue for the Aldi boiler. We do not need to do anything with these particular flues. There's no covers or anything that need to be removed. Just make sure that nothing is obstructing it. Gas locker just here. This gas locker is big enough to take 2 gas bottles. The regulator itself just sits here, and then the hose comes off the regulator and screws into the propane bottle and is tightened with a gas spanner. Bottle on and off on the top. This particular system runs a drive safe regulator and a drive safe hose. So once I've finished my demonstration video, this particular hose will be fitted in place of mine, and then when you attach this hose to your propane bottle, when you turn your gas on, you will then need to hold this button down for approximately about 4 or 5 seconds to allow the gas into the motorhome. The beauty of this system is you then do not need to turn your gas bottle off for travel, and if anything was to go wrong and this hose was to get severed in any way, this valve here recognises the sudden drop in gas pressure and cuts the gas off at this point here. On the regulator, it also has a valve, so if anything was to get damaged inside, again it will recognise the sudden drop in gas pressure, and this button here will pop out and it will trigger the valve. Sometimes these can also be triggered if you go over a bump quite violently, so if you're not getting any gas into the van, just check to see if this has popped out. If it has, again just hold it in to reset it. Obviously, if you turn the gas bottle off, when you turn the gas bottle on again, you will need to press the button to reset. External shower hose point just here. So you get the external shower hose which all just plugs in. It's no different than a hose lock system. So if I now just push this blue bit here, it will pop out the dust cover, and then you then just plug the shower hose in, and as long as the water pumps on, it will then automatically go under pressure. Next we have fresh water tank fill just here. As you can see, the cap can be locked, and if I now slide up, this has had the addition of a 12-volt power supply put on just here, so this can now be filled up either using a hose pipe or using a submersible pump. Obviously drop this end into the water barrel. This part then just goes in to this point just here, and then just plug the 2-pin prong into there to make it 12-volt live. We then have the fresh water tank drain just here, and the grey water tank drain just here. As I now move round, we have the Fiamma bike rack. To use this, just pull the bar towards you to drop the rails, and then just pop the bikes onto the rails and then secure the straps through the wheels. They do move about depending on the size of the bike, and then attach the arms to the frames. Rear view camera up the top here. And then as I move round, we have the location of the cassette toilet. To remove this, just lift up on the lever and pull towards you. Before use, remove the cap and add your toilet chemical with a small amount of water. This is also where it empties from. Just remember that when you are pouring it away, to hold the button in just here to release the vacuum inside. It's also advisable to keep this seal lubricated. Thetford do their own seal lubricant, but any silicone based lubricant is fine, and by turning this part here allows access inside the cassette for additional cleaning. All of these cassettes are now on wheels with extendable handles. Directly beneath that we have the spare wheel, just there, and it winds down at this point just here. So in the jack and wheel brace kit there's a bar, attach the brace to that bar and then wind the wheel down. Both vents for the Dometic fridge freezer. This is a fully winterized motorhome, so it is supplied with winter covers that can be clipped on the front here to hold some heat in the colder climate to make the fridge run more efficiently. Do make sure they are removed in the warmer months of the year, or otherwise the fridge will just overheat. They're also very handy to keep on when the motorhome is in storage and when you are washing it. External barbecue point just here. So at the moment the adapter itself is still attached on a cable tie, so just remove it. Attach the hose of the barbecue to this rib section here and secure it with a Jubilee clip, and then this end will plug in where my finger is just here and allow you to turn the gas on. To remove it, just push the collar up and it will release. External TV and satellite points, and you also have an additional 12 volt socket as well. External main socket, and then access underneath the bench seat. We then have the Dometic Rollout Canopy. To roll it out, take the Canopy winding handle and pop it in the base of the canopy and then begin to wind it out. As you can now see, I've wound the canopy out a short distance. I always prefer to do this and then drop the legs to give some support to the canopy itself, and then you're also not putting too much stress on the side of the van as well. The legs themselves are sprung loaded, so just push in at the end, and then as you can see it will then come out, and then just drop it to the ground like so, and then all you need to do is just push down here and then slide the leg all the way to the end until it clips in to place. If I then do exactly the same again on the other one, so as you can now see, they're both hanging down, but they're not quite touching the ground yet. So to allow them to drop, we need to just slide this bit up here and then pop this lever out. This will then allow it to drop down, get the canopy at the height you require, and then continue to push down to lock it into place. Now that the canopy is supported, I can continue to wind it out, walking the legs as I go. As you can now see, I've wound the canopy out to its full length. Never use in high winds, as it does run the risk of being flapped over the top of the motorhome. Because this is a very large canopy, it does come with what is known as a rafter pole, which will give some support to the centre of it. The rafter pole is just located just here, and again it's sprung loaded, so just push in and this will then allow it to come out, and then it literally just goes in here and then up here, and once it's installed it looks like this. When it comes to popping the canopy away, obviously remove the rafter pole first and pop it back into here, and then begin to wind the canopy back in, walking the legs as you go to roughly the point where we dropped them when we wound it out, and then begin to pop the legs away. So to do this, you need to slide this section up and release the leg itself, and then what you want to actually do is when you put the leg up, you want this black lever here to just hook over onto this little black part just here. This will stop the leg from dropping down. So it then looks like this, and then do exactly the same with the other leg. And then with these obviously sitting over the top, it will stop them from being able to release themselves and dropping the legs. Then what we need to do is then just unclip and then slide the legs back again to then allow them to be folded away. And then it's then just a matter of lifting the leg up so it sits like so, and then just sliding it into position. And now that the legs are fully secure, we can then continue to wind the canopy away until it will not wind any further. The canopy winding handle can get stuck like it is at the moment. To release it, just literally push up and then twist it round, and it will then release itself. We have diesel fill just here, and the diesel cap unlocks on the ignition key, and then we have AdBlue top up underneath. It will let you know on the dashboard when the AdBlue needs topping up. Tyre pressures on the door pillar just here. Both the driver and passenger seats are heated. Jack and wheel brace all underneath the passenger seat. Vehicle battery underneath the floor of the cab, and then bonnet release just here. The motorhome is alarmed, and the alarm is all operated through the key fob itself. So if I now press the lock button, we will get a single chirp and a single flash of the indicators indicating that all the doors are locked and the alarm is armed. When I unlock it, we get a double chirp and two flashes indicating that the doors are unlocked and the alarm is disarmed. What we can also do with this alarm is put it into what is known as pet friendly mode, so the alarm is active on the outside but disarmed on the inside. And the way we do this is just by pressing the lock button twice, so once and again, and we get a high-pitched chirp indicating that the system has been put into pet friendly mode. As soon as we unlock it again, it will go back to normal. If any door is left slightly on ajar or the bonnet hasn't been put down properly, if you now try to lock and set the alarm, you will get a series of chirps indicating that something is amiss.